is Focus with Jack Caudill.
Good evening, I'm Jack Caudill. Welcome to this month's edition of Focus. This month we're talking about business success stories right here in the Black Hills. Three guests with us to talk about that. Brian Lintz, he is the founder of Lintz Brothers Pizza in Hermosa. Jim Scull, he is the CEO of Scull Construction Company. And Ryan McFarland, he is the founder of Strider Bikes, headquartered right here in Rapid City. You know, last year CNBC named South Dakota is the top state in the country for business. Polina named South Dakota the 8th best pro-business state. Recently, the Tax Foundation State Business Tax Climate Index ranked South Dakota as #2 in the nation for state business taxes. Brian, we're going to start with you. How is the business climate here in this area for businesses getting started and continuing to grow here?
Getting started, I mean, it's a great opportunity for places to be able to open up. South Dakota has some of the best people as far as work ethic, and we can really build off of that with where we're at, especially down in Hermosa. You know, being 15 miles out of Rapid City, there's ample people close to us as well as in Rapid City.
Jim, how about you? How do you see the climate around here? You've been active in the Business Development Center here in town as well. How is the climate here?
It's very good. We're very blessed here in this part of the world. You know, this part of the world through the recession held its own real well. So, you know, through the recession, our company actually grew, which I know I tell other contractors around the nation there, because it was a depression for construction, not a recession in most of the nation. So here it's been great people, great workforce, you know, a lot of projects. Things are really hopping here.
In the scheme of things, Ryan, you guys are a fairly recent startup business. How is the climate in this area for getting something like that started?
It's been good. I think the Black Hills encourage good active lifestyle and enthusiasts for outdoor sports, and that's really our company's built around a lot of that. So I've had a great group of people to call upon to help further our cause. So.
Now, Ryan, looking at your company, originally you built a bike specifically for your son without a business's mind. So how did you make that leap from turning that in one home-built bike into a business that you guys started and got that going back in 2007?
You know, incremental steps, I guess, is key. Not taking on too big of a project at once, but really letting it evolve. Started out pretty small, but it was real evident right from the start that there was interest in the product. I would have to say for our business, the internet was key to our success. So much of our business goes beyond Rapid City, South Dakota, and even the United States. Better than half our business is outside of the United States now. So for Strider, really, it was the web that enabled this. It really is quite a time to be an entrepreneur, because from any location, I mean, Rapid City really is quite remote from the population of the world, yet from Rapid City we could reach the world through the internet.
How did that first idea first click that you realized that maybe I can make a living off of these bikes, the bike that you built for your son?
Yep. Yeah, you know, the bike worked so well for him, it really made him mobile. And so instead of a stroller when he was 2 or carrying him on my shoulders, we'd just take his bike. And so we were out in public with his bike a lot. And I would constantly have people come up and ask, how old is he? Where'd you get that? And, you know, after about the 50th one of those, finally said, okay, maybe there's opportunity here that I need to try and capitalize on.
Now, Jim, how about you? Your company started back in 1985. You started as a smaller construction company doing mainly government projects. So how did you get that going and then finally start to grow it into the bigger organization that you are today?
Well, I come from a construction family. My father was a carpenter, and my grandfather was a contractor in White River, South Dakota. So, you know, I had a little bit of a background, I guess, and then I went to the School of Mines, and then I went to the big job. After you get out of school, you always get the big job, you know. And then I said, you know, I really want to live in Rapid City. So I guess I come back here with the intention that I'll figure out a way to make a living, and then I just kind of built that into couple guys, 10 guys, 15 guys, you know, and the market has been really good, I think, in my lifetime. My father used to tell me, you came along at a good time, because there were times in Rapid City where they had some real ebb and flow of growth. And of course, since I've been in the business, it's been pretty much steady uphill. I mean, it's been getting better and better in Rapid City, so I was here to take advantage of that.
How daunting was that challenge at first as a young guy that said, you know, I'm going to try to do this on my own? You know, like you said, a guy here and a guy there. How daunting was that challenge to make a go of that?
Looking back, it was very daunting. I would probably not do it again. But at the time, I wanted to make a living. That's all I wanted to do was make a living. And then when you start hiring people, and they're quality people, and they're doing good work, then you have this goal of making a living and also keeping them employed. And so with that notion in mind, it wasn't that I chose to be a large contractor. It was just these people need a job. I better go find some more work. I better go find some more work. I'd attract better people. I better go find some more work. And that's kind of the way it grew. I didn't have this long-term goal vision of being the largest or anything like that. It just I got to keep my people busy.
Now, Brian, you guys started with the small family pizza business down at the campground down off of Highway 79 quite a few years ago. How did you make that jump from your own place? And you started that up in, I believe,
February.
2005.
Yeah, February of '05. We got the call from Bruce Hansen, that has Mount Rushmore Telephone Company, and his father had actually come out to our place that my folks had, and we'd always banter back and forth with him and said, gosh, you know, we're 3 miles out of Hermosa. We're kind of out of the way. If you ever build anything closer to Hermosa, we'd love to go into it with you. And in February of '05, his oldest son called and said, hey, Dad passed away, but before he did, he made us promise that we'd call you guys if we were going to build anything. And I was actually doing broadcasting at that time, and I thought, well, geez, do I want to keep doing that, or do I want to try something else and work for myself? And I told him, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And that's kind of how it started at that location. So.
Was that scary at all to get started, to make that leap? All of a sudden, I'm all in now.
Well, you know, looking back on it, you would think so, but maybe it was because I was just young and dumb. I didn't, it was kind of the unknown that I didn't have to worry about. So shortly after, I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. We looked around, and God provided everything, and everything just kind of fell in place. And when we needed something, it was right there. So it was pretty neat.
Now, you guys going strong down there right now. What were some of the challenges you faced when you were just getting started to really make this thing go?
Yeah, you know, with Mom and Dad's place, they had a small oven. It could fit 4 pizzas in it. And on a real busy night, they'd have a 2.5 hour, 3 hour wait for a pizza. And so trying to figure out, all right, if I have normal business, are we going to be able to handle that type of deal? And so just trying to figure out staffing issues. That was the biggest thing right off the bat. How many people do I have on? How many people do I need to have on? And her growth every year has really accentuated that. You know, the first year that we were open, summertime we'd have maybe 5, 6 people on. And, you know, now we've got 10 to 12 people on during a shift, and in the summertime we'll have a staff of 22 that's on the payroll. So to be able to have that, looking back in '05, I couldn't even imagine doing that now. So,
what are the challenges for that growth?
Every year,
come with it?
yeah, every year, you know, we close down for a week in January. People have their New Year's resolutions, and pizza's usually not at the top of the list, and so it gives us a chance to close down, do a top to bottom cleaning, and then we usually try to make the kitchen a little bit better flow. And so we always did improvements. And had we not made those improvements every year, we never would have been able to jump up to that next tier. So just being able to have a little bit of foresight, notice throughout the year where your deficiencies are, and then point those out, and then focus on them and fix them.
Jim, what were some of the challenges that you faced when you were getting going? Just said you came from a construction family. What are the challenges of getting your own thing going?
Well, in our business, you know, we're very capital intensive. To do work for the government or the state, feds, you have to have what they call bonding. So bonding basically requires 10% of your bonding capability in cash or current assets. So I didn't have any money when I started. I had a $5,000 mortgage on a pickup, you know, that's what I had. So, you know, to retain earnings and grow that way was huge. You just can't do it without it. And the second thing was people. You know, gaining credibility in a complex business such as construction is somewhat daunting. And so when you're a kid, I was only 25 years old when I started initially, and so to gather people of high quality that you want to do your work for you, and that architects, engineers, and owners say, these are the people I want to do my project, is pretty challenging when you're young, and to gain that credibility, so they'll call you back or call you at all, frankly, and so you can get to do those jobs. So to grow like that, and then attracting quality people, that's, to me, in our business, that's the most challenging thing. It's keeping quality people on staff that do quality work for you.
All right, we'll find out what challenges Ryan faced in getting Strider bikes underway when we come back with this month's edition of Focus. I'm Jack Caudill. Welcome back to this month's edition of Focus. We're talking about business success stories here in the Black Hills. Ryan McFarland is the founder of Strider Bikes here in Rapid City. Ryan, what were some of the challenges that you faced in getting this thing from your single bike on to a full-fledged business?
Probably still the same one that we face today, which is people don't quite understand what the product is. A little bit of a paradigm shifting product. Everybody knows what pizza is, and they know they like pizza, and if you make good pizza, you can win the business. Our competitor really is the old way of teaching a kid to ride, a tricycle or a training wheel, and so that's what's in everybody's head. And the true customer, the child, is too young to ask for the product, and the parent is going off the information that they knew before, and so we're trying to introduce a new technology, and it's struggling to always explain that in a way to a person who might not even be looking for a better solution. That really is a problem that recurs daily. We have discussion about that. How do we reach and explain what this is and how much benefit it can offer to a little kid? So we're 2 steps away from the end user of the product, and in between that user is the parent who may or may not be looking for the solution. So at least if somebody's hungry, they think, gosh, I'd like a pizza, and now you can win that battle because I make the best pizza. So that's been a ongoing struggle, trying to figure out how to shift that paradigm of thinking.
Now, one of the keys to making any business successful, obviously, is hiring good people, keeping good people. How has that gone around this area? Have you been able to find enough good people here?
Yes, actually, we've got a great staff of people who see the good that our product is doing for kids, and so I think that keeps them very motivated and energized to keep working, even though this paradigm shift is a difficult day in, day out job. I mean, it looks like things are always rosy and wonderful, and it is. It's a very fun business, but it's hard work too, and we've got a staff of people that work really hard. But it gets frustrating when you're talking to people and they don't understand. I don't think my kid can do that, or I don't understand it, and you have to let that roll off and go try and hit the next channel and the next person and explain it until you find those people who will listen. And that, that's tough when you run into that negativity in the marketplace when you know it's such a good product and can help kids. And so, that's where you got to really rely on the successes that you see in the kids, that it really has been a life changer for that child. And you go, that's what's going to keep me fueled up to, make the next call, try the next marketing campaign, work on the next design, is that we got to keep breaking through, because it does make a difference. And pretty soon that paradigm will shift, and it'll get easier to explain to the masses. So, but you got to have good people that withstand that barrage of struggle.
And Jim Scull is the CEO of Scull Construction, and you're obviously a very labor-intensive business that you're in. How is the labor pool for you guys around here?
Well, the labor pool is really tight in South Dakota, 3.4% unemployment. That's, I always say that's about where everybody's working who wants to work. So, you have to take extra measures here. And we do. We have for a number of years. We have an apprenticeship program. It's through the agency and the labor department. That we train have 15 people or so in that program at all times, which we've had very good luck in bringing them out as carpenters and concrete people and stud framers and this sort of thing, and taking young people, primarily young people, and giving them, a greater education and more dedication to our industry. And then we've hired some real high quality people. We're blessed here in this area, obviously, that people like to live here. So, we pay a real quality wage to, project managers with high skills and highly motivated. So, I have to say, when you're a good company, people are attracted to good companies, and I like to think we're a good company, and we really get a lot of opportunity to hire quality people. And actually, the School of Mines here has some really smart kids. we picked up a couple lately that are just like, these guys are really, really smart.
Has the labor boom, the oil boom in North Dakota, has that affected the labor pool for you guys here?
You know, I'm sure it has, but not directly. We've lost 2 or 3 people that I can think of to truck driving. You know, truck driving up there pays in the 6 figures, so it's $100,000, $120,000 a year. But we've also found that 2 out of 3 of those guys came back after a few months and just said, you know, the drudgery of living there and those many hours that we're expected to work and that sort of thing is not conducive to quality family life or any kind of life. So, you know, I can't say that's been a big detriment to us. And then we have an office in Dickinson, so, you know, if you really want to go to North Dakota, and we pay $4 or $5 an hour more up there, frankly, if you want to go there, we'll sure help you out. And so, you know, it's been good all the way around. But labor here is quality labor. I got to tell you that, like the other guys here, good workforce here, quality people, generally, I think, that know how to work. So we have kind of a heads up on a lot of parts of the nation.
Now, Brian Lintz is the founder of Lintz Brothers Pizza. How tough is it for you, or is it tough to find people to work in a pizza restaurant?
You know, yes and no. You know, we obviously bring in a lot of people that are in high school still, and we do have a very good retention rate. So if we have someone coming at 14 years old, you know, they can wash dishes and everything up until they're 16, and then we try to transition them into making and working into the company even deeper. And the more valuable they become, obviously, the more we're going to pay them and want to keep them and promote from within, because it cuts down on training and everything else. You know, we also we do pull some people out of Rapid City, but the bulk load of our people are close by, and even to help out with people coming out of Rapid, we usually try to give little perks and bonuses to entice them and make it worth their while. I actually do have my brother coming back up to help, and so there's actually a Lintz Brothers instead of just the Lintz.
So it'll be an honest.
It'll be an honest Lintz
Okay.
brother. Like I said, I really respect Jim here, because, you know, construction used to be in the family business, and that's why I named it Lintz Brothers, because my grandfather had Lintz Brothers Construction, and I don't have any building ability whatsoever, but I stole the name so that way we could have Lintz Brothers Pizza and be able to build off of that. So.
All right, we'll continue our look at local business success stories when we come back with this month's edition of Focus. I'm Jack Caudill. Welcome back to this month's edition of Focus, talking about business success stories here in the Black Hills. We're going to start with Jim Scull, the CEO of Scull Construction. Jim, do you remember the point where it kind of clicked, where you realized that, hey, this is going pretty well, that I think we're going to make a go of this?
Well, you know, my goal in starting out, because I started doing real small jobs, I mean, under 100,000, I always said that if I ever built a school, that would be my sign that I'd made it in the world. And of course, I built a lot of schools now, and we're continuing to build schools. So that was a big day for me when I said, "Honey, I think I've made it."
Now, as you drive around town, some of the things people will recognize that you guys have built: Corral Drive Elementary, Black Hills Surgery Center, Outdoor Campus, Dakota Steakhouse. What goes through your mind as you drive past those places and you see what your business has put up and is still there and getting lots of use? And
well, it's I'm impressed with me in a sense. You know, it's fun to go by and see those buildings. That's part of construction, of course, is you get to see the results of your work or your people's work. And so, you know, today we get opportunities on just about every high-end quality building in the region, frankly. And you know, that's a tribute to my people. I have really, really good people in the office. I have good people in the field that are leading the charge. So I'm really blessed that way.
did you picture that at all when you got started, the kind of jobs that you guys are doing now and the kind of range and reach that you guys have now?
Absolutely not. I just had no conception or that would be a possibility. You know, when I went to school, my father worked for Garland Construction. Garland Construction at the time was the largest construction company here, and he had a very good reputation for his philanthropy in the community and the things he did, and he was a success story. And I remember telling my father when I went to the School of Mines, I'm going to come out and I'm going to go to work for that company, and someday I'm going to own that company. Now, that was kind of off the cuff, but today, you know, I've just put together with my people, I certainly didn't do this alone, you know, a real great company that it's really fun when people call and said, you did my last job, I'm going to do another one, when can you come? So that's the true the true success story is when they invite you back to build their next building. That's the ultimate success.
Now, Ryan McFarland is the founder of Strider Bikes here in Rapid City. Do you remember the point where you kind of clicked that you guys were doing pretty well?
You know, I guess we see that every week. Some new bit of news comes through that we keep growing. I don't know that there was any one thing. Maybe when we started shipping internationally, you know, that was a big step when it was like, wow, we're shipping containers straight to foreign countries, you know, but you know, now we've got more bikes going internationally than coming to the U.S., so it just keeps changing. But just little things daily, you know, like you driving by jobs that you've completed and seeing these amazing structures. You know, I'll be on Facebook and there'll be a post from some Strider race in the Philippines or something. It's all branded Strider, and there's all these little kids racing around over there, and I think, wow, that's half a world away. And started out of the garage, you know. So, but certainly not comfortable. We with where we're at, so we're looking every day is trying to push hard for making tomorrow even bigger and better.
Brian Lentz is the founder of Lentz Brothers Pizza. Do you remember when you realized that this is going pretty well?
You know, we've been very lucky. You know, we've always been above the previous year's month, and the only exception for that was last October, and we were closed down for 7 days. We were out of power for 5 days, and then I closed 2 extra days so that my workers could get their homes in order. And so that's been the only time that we've been below the previous year's month. And in the economy that we're in right now, that's a pretty good pat on the shoulder, you know. And that's one thing I tell my workers. The thing that makes me the happiest about the pizza place is, you know, when you can have 99% of the people that come through that think you're the best thing that they've ever had. I don't know if there's too many places that can really brag that and appreciate that. And, you know, if we can continue to do that, then the sky's the limit on how far we can go. So,
You guys are all pretty involved in the community. How important is that to the business?
You have to. I mean, it's 100%. You have to give back to what the community gave to you. You have to do it. And it just becomes part of who your company is. And your workers, they adopt that and they take it out. And you know, especially the younger kids, I really impress upon them that you are representatives of us. So when you're out and about, if someone needs help, go help them, because they'll see you at the pizza place, and when they see you out, they'll automatically recognize you as part of that organization.
Jim, how important is it to you guys to be involved in the community, give back a little bit?
No, I just really enjoy doing that a lot. You know, I have a particular trade where I can help a lot of nonprofits with their structures and buildings, and I encourage my people to do that. And we can step in, which is simple to us, is complex, you know, to most people. Building buildings seems like it's voodoo to some people, and to us it's like duck soup. So, you know, doing it that way. But also, you know, it just struck me, I think Ep Howe might have told me one time, you know, if you successful people that have the skill levels don't give back to our community, who's going to make our community what it's going to be in the future? And that resonated with me. I mean, more people that are successful with the great ideas, great thoughts, great drive, you know, they need to step up and say, we want this community to be all it can be, and for that will be great.
All right, got about 10 seconds. Ryan, what do you, as far as giving back, how big is that to you guys?
Absolutely. We actually started a rider fund. A portion of all of our revenue goes into that fund, and that fund distributes bikes out to kids all across the nation. We're actually giving 7 bikes away every day now until right before Christmas.
All right, we are out of time. Brian Lentz, Jim Scull, and Ryan McFarland, thank you guys for going. Congratulations on businesses going so well, helping out here in the Black Hills. That'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again the first Sunday night of next month. Good night.